And we're off. So we got us a road rager that just drove right through the wet concrete they just poured here. He's like, I got to turn right in the Starbucks right here, bro. And they're like, nope, can't go this way. This guy's like, what are you doing, man? What a nightmare. Look at that disaster. These guys are like, what's going on? And we're off. To say that this is a disaster would be a complete understatement. This is so insane. Look how wet that concrete was, too. They didn't even seal it up a couple floors with some really dry mud, like a 405, and let it set up and vibrate it, and then put the wet shit on top. What a... And we're off. Maybe you guys could help me out. How long did it take them to dig this trench? And why are they having this concrete flow like that instead of just pumping it in and letting it run like a river? And where's it running to is another question I'm wondering. And they got these guys raking it, pulling it down. Pretty nice. And we're off. I don't know, maybe some cones and caution tape would have helped out with this situation, and somebody wouldn't have drove through your wet concrete. You got to be careful when you're pouring. People could ruin your whole pour. You got to make it where you have to drive through the tape and knock the cones over to run it over. They just ran right through it and split. What are you going to do? And we're off. I've seen one of these a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago. They're mammoth. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's called a truss screed. I'm pretty sure. They work really good, but to store this thing and to haul it around, I don't think so. I think a laser screed would be the way to go. What do you guys think of this? And we're off. These guys are filling up their van with concrete. I wish I could have been there when I heard these two masterminds plotting how they were going to do this. And let's just pull the van up and we'll fill it full of concrete, and then we'll transport it maybe 20 miles, and then we'll pour it, and we'll save a lot of money. And we're off. Check this slump out. This is called flowable concrete here. It just flows to the lowest point where it's got to be. What slump do you guys think that is? You can't even test it, huh? That's the boniest mix you'll ever see. With all that water and how wet it is, when it shrinks, it's going to shrink so fast it'd crack everywhere. Doesn't need rebar though, right? Look at that stuff. How do you think this house is going to turn out? And we're off. And Granny here decided to order 3.5 yards and pour herself a new sidewalk. She didn't want to put any forms up. I don't know what was wrong with the other sidewalk there. Seems to be raking it like a pro. She's got herself a come along the whole bit. I'm sure this is going to turn out great. Okay, and we're off. Check these cowboys out. This is definitely not easy money concrete. Get a load of this. The good thing is they only have 10 more miles to go, and they'll be done. That power trowel will be beat. How'd you like to be the guy up top with the rope or the guy below? And we're off. How would you guys pour the curb and gutter, the old way or the new way with this thing? I don't think this technology is all that great, this spin screed for the curbs. I know they have curb machines and stuff like that, but pouring it like this, do you think it's better with this or just the old way, with the old Darby? I go the old way. And we're off. This is totally satisfying for anybody that's ever pumped concrete before. When you can get a little sledgehammer and tippy tap on the steel pipe and the plug lets loose, he's one happy dude, trust me. You didn't have to break out the big sledge and bang on the hose. Okay, and we're off. We got a heck of a crew here. They demoed everything out. They even put 53s down. The existing concrete that's at the right elevation to the garage, they're going to leave it, and they're just going to pour over it and make it higher so you have a little bunny hop when you drive in. And I think the concrete's going underneath the garage door, and it's probably going to lock it in where that thing won't open. What do you guys think of this? And they're splashing all over the garage. Only in Iowa, boys. And we're off. Let me, this is the absolute best concrete fail video ever. Let me state the obvious. Where's the Ready Mix driver? And why is this thing in discharge and going all over the street? I mean, look at that pump. That's a Mako C30, a mechanical pump, I believe. I could piss harder than that thing pumps. Okay, and we're off. You know this is going to be a good one. Today we're going to rip this cement mixer barrel open like a can opener. Get a look at this guy on the excavator just yanking the controls back and forth. Somebody could have told him they could have thrown sugar in the load and came back and cut it open with a torch, but we're just going to ruin the whole truck. And we're off. This is my favorite concrete video I've ever seen. These guys are in the middle of nowhere, and they seem to have dug a footing, or a trench, if you will. It's like a Trojan horse to taxi the concrete down the hill. So they got this stuff ripping down the hill, and the guy coming up here is the most important. That's Igor. He's got to keep it moving. Where it's going, nobody knows, and where it's going to end up and why, I have no idea. But check it out. And we're off. These guys are great. I wish I could have seen how they poured this. They got two guys up there with ropes around their waist, pulling the power trowel, doing the ditch. They got a guy here that just watered the flowers, and now he's out here barking orders. Check this dude out. They got these three doing all the work. I'm sure it'll be fine. And we're off. To say that this is a disaster would be a complete understatement. This is so insane. Look how wet that concrete was, too. They didn't even seal it up a couple floors with some really dry mud, like a 405, and let it set up and vibrate it, and then put the wet shit on top. What a... And we're off, boys. I wish I was there when I listened to these guys strategize this pour. Get a load of the curb. They freehand it with, it looks like 1-inch rock, and they probably poured that at a 3-inch, and they did a good job shaping it just by the look of this work. And then we're going to shoot this water with 10% water reducer, right? And we're off. These guys are pouring a huge driveway on a slope. Looks like they know what they're doing. Weather's so important when pouring concrete. It can change the outcome in a heartbeat. Look how nice it looks. These guys are pouring it down. It's all looking good, and voila. Check this out. And it's on a complete slope where all the cream's running straight downhill. This guy's going full Tarzan. And we're off. Concrete technology is amazing. Can you imagine pouring floors this huge with this laser screed? And it screeds it perfect. It comes out unbelievable. You don't need 100 guys. I don't know why they put wire or rebar in this, because there's no freaking way it's going to be off the ground. This might look like fun and games, but this is more dangerous than you think. I don't know who would let this dude sit on that hose. If that thing plugs right where he's sitting or behind him and whips, and that end hits him in the head, he's done before he hits the ground. Unbelievable. And we're off. I can't figure out what they're pouring here, but this is some self-leveler. They dug this foundation where whatever it is, it's not shored up. I can't imagine what it is, but this is a ready-mix driver's dream. Just back up and let it rip. What do you guys think they're pouring here? Because I have no idea. Check it out. And we are off. These guys were pouring some columns, and they poured it too wet, and it just blew out and ran out the bottom. And this guy just got a bag and stuffed it in there and stopped the bleeding. They lost a lot of concrete on the ground, but it looks like it could have been worse. And we're off. So we got us a high-range water reducer in this mix. We're just going to dump it, let it self-level. We got the customary 3 guys with the rakes, 1 guy standing. This is going to come out real level and probably pretty perfect. What do you guys think? Do you pour concrete like this? Oh yeah, and we're off. You know what that means, straight to Crazy Town. Check these boys out, they figured it all out. I'll bring my shower head in there and we'll soak this as it's coming down the chute. We'll make this chute extension. I mean, where are these guys living, under a rock? Who would come up with something like this? It's almost unbelievable, but trust me, it's true. What do you guys think? And we're off. So this guy got what essentially looks like a cake mixer at best, and he's gonna remix this whole tray of concrete that's probably 4 hours old. And the inspector over here says it's still good. Check this out. Here he is here. See? Still good. You can use it. Wow. Okay, and we're off. This is some self-leveling concrete here. You get like 6, 7 guys with rakes, and you just shoot it in there. Why use a pump? And you just check out the grate stakes. At least they got those in there. This is going to be totally level. This is going to come out beautiful. Some new technology here. Oh, now this is satisfying. Self-leveling, gravity-fed concrete. Doesn't get much easier than this. And these boys are real pros. You can tell by the come-alongs. The rakes they're holding right there. They got boots. These guys are good to go, ready to rock. And we're off. You get one chance at concrete, and I think it's safe to say these guys failed miserably. What do you guys think? You grade that an F, tear out, or what? Will that pass? What do you guys think of that work? And we're off. When I was an everyday concrete pumper, this was the most easy money I would roll up on and satisfying pump jobs I ever did in my life. When I'd roll up and they'd say, oh, we're going to fill these walls up, I was one happy pumper. And we're off. This excavator broke a high pressure line. Look, and he's going to stop the water, he thinks. Watch this. They don't understand the pressure of that water will flip that excavator right over if he kept the bucket on it and didn't tilt it down. What a ding-dong. All right, let's get it on. So I know how to get rid of about 2,500 employees for this company if they called me. I would advise them to get a boom pump, and we'll boom pump this. And if you could do a rebar grid like that, you can afford a pump. And we're off. I assume this is what you call being stuck between a rock and a hard place. This dude, bro, found the only mud pit in all of the woods, and he decided to get stuck in it. I mean, I don't think Grandpa's going to get that thing out. Okay, and we're off. This guy's got like a 20-foot Vibra screed. I think he put a little too much water in the mix. Check out those bird baths. I don't think this Vibra screed's doing anything. He could have just left it the way it was, and it'd be just as good as it is. Get a load of that. And we're off. If you're going to be in concrete and work for somebody, this is the kind of company you want to work for. They're boom pumping it, piece of cake. They got that sweet screed out there. You just got to throw a bowl float and machine it, and they probably got sit-down machines. What do you guys think? And we're off. This is a new way of brooming that I've seen. I think I'd go with that many pulls deep. I'd go with the old push-pull. I think he's got the wrong broom on there, too. Look how crappy that broom finish looks. Man, oh, man. And we're off. Watch this guy on this Georgia buggy. He actually scores a perfect 10. Up, over, you got to call that stick in the landing, bro. You got to give him a 10. Him and Mary Lou Retton are the only 10s ever to stick that move. What do you guys think? And we're off. What these guys were pumping, or whose idea it was to just throw it down on the ground over here and blow it out on the lake, the line is anyone's guess. Check this out. Watch all the water. They're going to run about 100 gallons of water behind this, too. Probably pretty good for the environment. What do you guys think? Man, and we're off. I'm sure you could hire these boys cheap. Check out this idea they came up with to shoot the concrete in. You need them to pour your garage floor? Check that out. The whole thing fell in on them. This is what they came up with. They're going to shoot 2 loads, 2 guys, piss wet, and they're going to pull it with rakes from one end to the other. I love that come-along technique. Check out these chutes. These things are absolutely brilliant. What do you guys think of this? And it's time. Check this out. You guys pour a bony mix like this, 90% water. Check this out. It's just flowable. It goes wherever you want it to go. This is quite a crew, and they even have the presence of mind to throw some untied rebar in there. What do you guys think of that? That's going to add some significant strength, right? And we're off. So these guys just made a chute. We're going to pour it down there, We're going to shoot into the wheelbarrow, and then we'll wheel it from there, so it's 5 moves. And all kidding aside, where do you get the apron this guy's wearing down here? I'd really like to get one of those so I could pour in that. A lot of these guys seem to have that apron on. It seems coveted.